I am your host, Coach Cody, and I am here with.
Thank you for saying it, Nina Marie.
Yes, y'all make sure I show her some love. I'm not gonna say this is an interesting topic or episode, but it's one that I'm gonna challenge your thinking. Talk to us. Talk to me.
Sorry. So I saw on, well, it was TikTok. My homeboy had sent me this because we were talking about it, and he so crazy, like, found this miraculously, I feel. But this is one of those times where I feel like God hears me, like, and he sees me. And so, you got Ace, is that what his name? Okay, anyway, Ace, the guy that, what's this show called? Something conversations, I forgot what it is, but his name's Ace, and he, y'all see it in there, in the screen. But yeah, so either way, we're gonna listen. Anyway, this motherfucker is just a hater.
Things. And I'm just going, ladies, give me grace. I don't feel like men are given that safe space in a relationship to be vulnerable and to be honest without being judged or without it being hijacked about how I made you feel about my honesty. And so what a lot of men learn to do through conditioning with dealing with women over time, even with their mothers, even with their family members, is learn to internalize this, because even if I have a legitimate gripe, I know when I tell you this, you may start to cry, you may start to flip it. And now I'm talking more about how you feel about what I said than what I actually said. And so we always talk about providing safe space for women, and that's a conversation, period, and stick that. But also for men, I think men are yelling and moving towards, like, I want to be having a safe space too. Keita, what's up?
I have a rebuttal to that, and I wonder if our rebuttals match.
What's up?
My question to that is now, because you said that you feel like the conversation goes there, is that just what the conversation turns into, and that's how you solve a problem? Because you might say something, and then I respond, and that's how the conversation is going. Hey, I like the fact you opened up to me. I didn't like the way you said it. So can we talk like this, or can we do that?
So in a small example of what I was talking about is what happened just now. Mm-hmm. Right? Instead of realizing how I felt was legitimate and it was real and it was authentic and it's coming from a place of this is actually happening to me.
What happened?
You said, okay, but maybe it's not happening like this. Maybe it's happening like that.
I gave you a different perspective.
Hold on, let me finish though. I guess what I'm saying is it is that. What happens is most, and I'm generalizations, don't quote me, but most men on an average basis probably word for word cannot out argue you or out discuss you. So what end up happening is, if you are more skillful with words, you're more skillful with twisting, semantics, or whatever, you will take control of this conversation. And this man didn't even get out what he actually wanted to get out. Yeah. And now
see what happened.
All right. So I already had my thoughts about it, but I'm gonna let you go first, because I just feel like you got some Anna on your chest.
First off, anytime you open up a conversation with "I feel," that's when you automatically put yourself in, that's your opinion, and that's based off of your experience. So he can't. I see what he's saying, but he can't speak for all men and all women.
Okay.
When he opened it with "I feel." And I say that because that to me is given based off of what he has experienced.
Okay.
I do feel like there are certain women who kind of have that tendency, but you also have to look at the situation that they were in, which requires them to respond like that, which also required him to respond the way he does with even saying what he said. If that makes sense. You see what I'm saying?
That last part, I didn't get as far as like him responding to.
So their whole topic kind of. I went back and watched the entire episode of that.
Oh, you did?
Just to kind of see where it was going. Of course, you heard towards the end where it started going left because, in a sense, he kind of got defensive towards. See, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. But that woman had every right to open up that conversation even more because she said what she said was, you said, feel. Now, again, like this conversation, this podcast, this episode can go really long on this because it's all based off a feeling. And he opened up his conversation with, I feel.
Okay, but there are people who do feel like that. So then are their experiences invalid?
I'm not going to say that their feelings are invalid, but you can't.
Or their experiences are invalid because just because in my opinion, I don't think that he's speaking for all men and all women. I think that, he's just highlighting an issue amongst some women and some men and I'll just keep it real. I've seen it happen too. I've seen, women make it about them and a man, and you totally completely missed what the man was saying, all because of you didn't like you didn't like his tone, or you didn't like how he made you feel, but what he said went wrong. You just didn't like how it made you feel, and yeah, you may like everything a person says to you. You're not gonna always like it, but it doesn't mean that it's not wrong to say. So I do know, like, just from my own personal experience with women, that's a prime example right there. Like, you could be making some valid points, and you have the right to also express those valid points in a certain emotion, with a certain emotion. And I just feel like it's unfair to rob someone of their humanity and their human moment, which has nothing to do with good or bad. This is just me being a human, normal, regular human being. It's okay to have this moment right now. And instead of you hearing what I said and doing the work, doing the inner work, all you see now is I'm offended. I don't feel good. This is how this is making me feel. And it's very like I. Versus this person is telling you something that's important to them, and they have the right to be heard. And you should care enough to hear what they have to say and then process things and then deal with it for what it is and not what you think it is or feel it is.
I guess let's take this back to what he was trying to say before he got his feelings. You talked about feelings too. But the key here is creating a safe place. So let me ask the men, what are you doing to create a safe place for that woman to not take you out of your safe space? You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
So both parties have to come to an agreement where they're creating a safe space for each other.
Yes, I agree.
Me and your relationship is the way it is because we created a safe place for each other.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of things that Nina might say that might offend me, and I might say things that offend her. But Nina has never approached me in an aggressive way where I come back and be like, now I don't feel like I can ask her anything or say anything to her. But, all right. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, and I don't want to say in defense of the women, but in a defense of standing up for a man's role. Why is your woman not feeling safe? Is the question.
Does it automatically mean that it's his fault?
Yeah, it is. It is his fault. And
You're not like that nigga.
No, it ain't got. Honestly, it ain't got nothing to do with him. But even if I was in a relationship and my girl did not feel safe when she was around me to have real conversation.
We're talking about in this context. He's talking to her. And he's coming to her honestly, and she's, she doesn't hear him. She just
I'm
sees whatever triggers she sees.
Relationship, and I can't have an honest conversation with my girl and she doesn't feel safe,
Mm-hmm.
then I'm missing my mark.
I don't know about
You know
that.
what
Like
I'm saying?
I think in this particular context, for me, I feel like it's not one-sided. Like, it's like you were saying earlier, it's important for both parties to understand that we are co-creating a safe space for each other. So that means that everybody got to be on the same page as to, hey, this person has their human moments. Let me give them the benefit of the doubt sometimes, instead of just like, going straight to what I think, is happening. Like, let me be curious instead of like me getting an attitude. Let me say, hey, when you said da, what did you mean by that? Versus like, I'm offended because, your tone was a little, oh man. And it's like, it ain't even about his tone. It had nothing to do with his tone. Whatever hang up you got internally, you can't just allow someone to like be in their space to talk to you as who they are without making it about you because you don't like a stupid ass, silly ass tone. It's one thing for someone to be like, oh, no, but you're talking about like, this person is frustrated with you and they may have an attitude in their voice. They are well within their right to show you that, yes, I'm irritated with you. So yes, I'm going to show you that I have an attitude with you. Like that's where emotional maturity comes into play. You have to be able to see that, like, you know what, this person is frustrated. So of course, they're not going to have a, you know what, baby? They're frustrated, so they're going to have a frustrated tone. They're going to have an attitude tone. It's called emotional intelligence.
And I get that, but okay, let me say this. I don't know where he was coming from. I can't speak on his personal feelings.
Mm-hmm.
But what I will say is, it's okay to be frustrated with an individual, but that does not mean that we don't have a safe place to have conversation.
Yeah, of course.
What he was saying was, well, women don't give us a safe place to
I'll be honest.
But to me, I guess I'm stuck on why. Why does a woman
You
not
stuck on the fact that this motherfucker blocked your ass?
No, I'm really not. I mean, like, I'm looking at this even I'm gonna use myself.
Okay.
If I'm in a relationship with you, even if it's just us being friends, why do I not feel safe to have a conversation with you as my friend? Something in the middle of there is missed.
Okay. So then that is your responsibility as a person to come to that person and say, I don't feel safe because da 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 da. And then you guys can try to like, And another thing too, your man, if you don't talk to him, you don't open up your mouth, how he gonna know how to approach you with certain things because you told him certain things. And then he can talk to you based on what he knows versus, you never told me that you didn't like this because your daddy did that. You didn't tell me all of that. You know what I'm saying? So you got to open up your mouth. And that's vice versa. Men and women need to do that.
It is vice versa. I guess I'm just in a mindset now where I keep bringing the responsibility back on the man.
You're going to commit suicide, with all that pressure on men.
I should be, as a man, and maybe I'm just mature in another place this season of my life. I don't know. Even if I've been in some relationships that were not so safe, but what I did was try to create a safe place as a man. If I'm gonna try to build a relationship with this girl, I'm trying to marry you, then I'm gonna create a safe place. And I think in a lot of those relationships, there was safety being created.
But they took advantage of you too. And that's a great, your life right there is a great example.
Not me,
because
I did not create a safe place.
No, but this is a perfect example. Here you are doing what you're supposed to do, creating a safe space, and then this woman still, because of her own internal issues, is projecting that shit onto you, and you are trying your best to provide this safe space, and they still catch an attitude when you say something a certain way, or they still da-da-da-da-da. And it's like, I'm doing all this to like, and you still are blaming me for whatever happened, or you're projecting onto me without like seeing all this effort that I'm doing.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
And I get what you're saying. But also, like I said, I'm just in the new city. Like you know, I'm in a whole hey.
But you don't blame yourself for how they responded to you.
I don't. But because I did my job, which was I tried.
Mm-hmm.
Once you have tried, it's no longer your responsibility.
Yeah.
But if you did not try, and then you want to bring up the topic of, wow, I don't feel safe in this thing. What have you done to create a safe place?
Okay.
Because you can't sit there and say, I don't feel safe when you never brought that conversation to the table.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, I think that we both have some valid points. And I think it's both challenging, both men and women, that people can't read your mind, male or female. And it is important for each individual to be vulnerable and forthright with whatever they're going through and say, hey, I didn't like this when you said this, because the conversation has to be started somehow. You know, and however it started is fine. Doesn't matter how it starts, you know, per se, as long as it starts. And then we can start to make some, you know, changes there. But if changes aren't being made, especially after like you see that, you know, someone is doing their part and you're not, that's not fair. You know what I'm saying? It's not fair.
So we understand.
Can I piggyback off that? Can y'all pick this up from here? No?
Go ahead.
I think so. You should be good.
I understand what you're trying to say because, and this is what I try to tell Nina when it comes to dealing with people. When his or her intentions mean well, and when his intentions are well, what he's saying is, at least he did what he was supposed to do, I guess, on his part. So he's not losing anything from those people taking advantage of him. You know
I agree.
He's not missing anything from that because at the end of the day, his intent was to create a safe space and he did his part.
Yeah.
So he can't ever really, you know what I'm saying, like blame himself.
But he's assuming that guy didn't also try his best either.
Well, no, the only reason I'm assuming that is because he opened up and saying, I feel like y'all don't give women a safe place.
Well, how is he going to be able to say that if he hasn't experienced it yet?
Came at him the certain way he did. This is why. See, this is a perfect example. Like I'm not trying to come for him, but I'm trying to come from a perspective of this is why I guess as men we're not able to create that safe place because you haven't did the work. Clearly, he has not did the work.
How so? How do you know? You weren't there.
I feel like.
Okay, so when you're experiencing something from someone, you can't say, "Hey, I feel like you're doing this to me." You can't say those words.
No.
What words do you use then? I mean, I'm confused.
I get because I mean, either way it goes, it's gonna come off like I just this hater on this guy. I'm sorry, sir.
I'm just trying to make it make sense. Make it make sense.
I guess it don't. I guess in this situation, it's kind of hard for it to make sense.
We don't know if that man tried his best to create a safe space, or if he didn't even try, and then whichever reason led him to ask this question at this conference. We don't know what led him to ask that question.
That's happened to him multiple times in his life. That's why he even brought up the conversation.
But once again, we don't know where it originates from. We don't know the why. We don't know why. We don't know if he was trying his best and she was being unappreciative, or if he was never trying his best and now he still want to, complain. We don't know.
I guess because it's the coach in me, the psychological aspect of things of being able to kind of see people's traumas. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And I say that again because if you look back at the full clip, he got immediately defensive when she came for him because he was like, "See, this is why." That's another situation where you can honestly say, "Bro, what happened to you?"
But this is further proving my point. The statement was men do not feel safe to be honest. That's an honest presentation of someone who feels like, hey, you're not seeing me. So if you're not being seen, do you think a person is going to be like, you don't see me? No, you're having a real moment of what it looks like when I don't feel seen. That's the safety that he's asking for. He's like, hey, the same safety that you want to be able to be, you want to be able to feel weak, or you want to be able to tell me your insecurities and me give you a safe space to land. It's the same thing when I'm coming at you, when you're experiencing me feel unseen. This is how it looks for me to feel unseen. So this is the reaction that you're going to get. Men deserve that same respect and that same, courtesy.
Men don't deserve it. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, if both parties come together and create and try to create that safe place, because I can't say create a safe place and the other party's not doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in a relationship and you're at a point where you don't feel safe, that to me says there has been multiple times where this has taken place for you not to feel safe. And if this person is not making you feel safe, why are you there? Why are you there?
What?
Even as a man,
this went so, okay, I'm sorry. That went so far left, in my opinion, because so when someone, then once again, men are human beings too. I'm not saying to give bitch ass niggas, no, what I'm talking about is I've seen good men who are trying, but then we put them on this pedestal to be perfect, and they're trying to say, hey, I'm good, but I'm not perfect. And also, there are going to be times where I'm going to say something to you, and you got to take it, honey, and not get mad at me because I'm being honest. And there are some times where I'm presenting myself first time basis with you because for whatever reason as to why we weren't able to have this conversation, but now we're having it because just life, that's life. You cannot predict or control when you're going to have a conversation with somebody all the time. So, that whole basis of why are you here? You don't know what prevented him from saying what he had to say when he needed to say it, but he's saying it now. So give him that safe space to have that conversation and work through it versus walking away and saying that shit.
I get that. I do. But I'm saying, as a man, if I'm a man and I'm complaining to my girl, I just don't feel safe here. That's okay. But why?
Okay.
Why don't I feel safe?
Okay.
Why does she not feel safe to have a conversation? That's what I'm trying to get to.
Okay. Well then, yeah, and that's a great place to start.
Because let's just use this in a general statement. And we ask the question to you, why don't women feel safe? Why do certain women feel like they have to come to a man aggressively? Why?
Okay.
Is that because of her past trauma? Okay. But when she gets with me, I feel like as a man, it's my responsibility to at least create a safe place. Not saying that she gonna always feel safe, but at least I created a safe place.
Okay.
Now, if she don't feel safe and I create a safe place, then now I'm a question, okay, obviously this ain't the space for you. You know what I'm saying? Okay. And I'm not gonna I'm not gonna be offended and be like, see, this is why I don't talk to you. You know what I mean? Like, no, I've done my job. I created a safe place. You know what I'm saying? And I'm trying to create a scenario that I'm just kind of still thinking and talking at the same time.
No, it's fine. I mean, go ahead.
I guess I can use.
Hey, y'all, we got new episodes coming in because you a fan, and we gonna spin the block on the dot because you're about to get clapped. Bars, bitch. Bars.
What makes a woman come into her masculine energy, I guess I should say, when responding and being aggressive, when a man shuts down and he stonewalls or he don't want to talk, it's like I don't want to talk right now kind of energy, or he says that to you on a regular basis. Then, by the time we are ready to talk and have a real conversation and get down to what needs to be said, then we start to be expressive and we're angry. and because we're resentful. Because it's like, if we do come to, not all men are like this, but when we do come to you and we do try to be, we're emotional. Of course, we're women, and we tell you what we don't appreciate and what we don't like. We get the rare, the rare, tit for tat kind of thing, or you'll come back and respond to me with something I've never heard before, and I've never even known that you felt a way about any of that. But when I'm expressing my needs and my wants, or the things that I don't appreciate, or maybe some great things, who knows, it becomes an argument, because now it becomes a competition, and now it's the tit for tat. And then, like, in the future, then when I really want to say something, it's like I can't, because, oh shit, it's going to be an argument.
I don't think that's what this guy was saying. That was the context. I understand what you're saying as far as like your experience with why women, may not feel safe. That makes perfect sense. This man articulated himself very well in saying that, hey, I want to be able to show up in an honest way. That should not be something that is negatively judged against me, because I want you to also see me as a human being as well. Now, if he's able to articulate himself the way he just did, then the next question that should be having from his woman, which is something that he brought up, a good point, which is, hey, why do you feel this way? Then guess what? He can tell her, well, when you do this. So I think that, and what I'm thinking that the conversation or his intentions for what he was saying was that direction he's trying to go, was that let's have the conversation. Like, let's, not get defensive first. Let's first understand that men are human, women are human. We both are human. So let's both allow each other to have our human moments, and let's get curious about that as well. So if I come to you and I tell you this is how I feel, then you can ask me, why do I feel this way? And go, great. Then I can tell you why I feel this way. And then now we can see why. Let's come to a solution as to how we can make sure that you don't feel that way anymore. I think that's what he was trying to say. And I don't think there's anything wrong with the man wanting that.
There's definitely not anything wrong with that. I'm trying to steer away from making it seem like I'm just jumping down his throat. But I've watched the podcast before. And from my personal, and not because I ain't got no personal vendetta with this dude, but from me watching these episodes, and I'm pretty sure y'all can agree with this, I don't think he's ever made any of women feel safe to have a conversation with him. He's always been defensive. He's always been, You know what I mean?
Well, most of those guys on those podcasts are narcs.
Well, I mean, like that Derek Jackson guy. He's,
that's the thing.
Derek Jackson.
How can that woman feel safe when you're always approaching her the way that you are doing that?
I think, okay, well, let's just remove that motherfucker, okay?
Because he the one started the conversation.
But I'm talking about, let's put another man who has also that experience.
I got a question.
But we're not talking about a fuck ass nigga, okay? Because clearly, fuck ass niggas will be narcs and they will manipulate you and make you feel like you're crazy. We're talking about genuine men who really have a genuine feeling of unsafety in their relationship, and they're trying to come to you to resolve that. Let's put those men there. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, and that's and I guess my thing is my advice to the men: if you are feeling that way, sir, do your best. And I'm gonna talk to the camera right here.
That's right.
To your best ability, try to create a safe place for her to not make you feel unsafe, if that makes sense. Now, I'm not saying it's gonna be perfect, but what I'm saying is, you want love, you give love. You know what I mean? You want peace, you give peace. You want a safe place to have conversation, you give a safe place to have conversation. That's all I'm trying to say.
Vice versa for women too.
Yes,
women have just
why you did not feel safe. That's what.
So y'all don't think there are manipulative narcissists women out there?
No, I'm not.
Y'all don't think that there are bad women out there?
No.
That take advantage of good men? They're out there.
They are.
They are. And those women need to be held accountable that, hey, you had a good man at your house and he is trying and you're dragging him through the mud for no reason because your pride does not want to go, this motherfucker deals with it.
I know. I have dealt with it.
But that's what I'm talking about. You can try your best with some of these women or whatever like that. And the point is, just like we keep these men, these bad boys in check, we got some women out here that also need to be held accountable as well because
no doubt
we know them as women as well. So it's not just all men. I'm trying to make sure that this is fair when it comes to humanity. There are bad men. There are just bad women sometimes, and they just don't. They're not mature when it comes to romantic relationships, and this is what happens.
Say something.
Yeah.
So, just like you had to remove whoever the guy was that said that, you had to remove him possibly being a narcissist. Like, in the same way, I feel like it's not fair to say, like, women, yeah, they're narcissistic women, of course, but I feel like it's not the majority of people.
I'm not saying that.
So, but it's like, I don't think it's fair. Normally, like, women, if you're creating a safe space, like Cody was saying, women want to be soft in a relationship. Nobody wants to be a pit bull out here. And I feel like once you create that safe space, women are going to be naturally soft. And they're going to be more to get that side of them. So
that's good, mature women. I don't think that that's immature women.
I think that's who we're talking to. I'm not like the people who are unhealed. They're going to be unhealed over there regardless. But like if it's people in a healthy, that question came from a healthy, like, I guess, perspective is different than like a narcissist. Of course he's not going to understand. You didn't create a safe thing. You didn't deserve a safe thing.
Yeah.
I think that's what, that to me is what it is. Do you deserve a safe place is the question.
Okay. Well, like I said, something to like y'all act like good women who are also mature don't make mistakes, and sometimes like being with a good man, you can lose sight of like, oh, you know what, I am operating in my ego right now, but I'm hoping that I think we're all hoping that both men and women who want to grow, that when you do see yourself, kind of lacking, catch yourself and humble yourself and give that person the safe space that they need, either gender. So that's just in general what I'm saying. Okay? Period. And I said what I said, goddammit. Y'all try to give me change your mind. You talking to Nina. Sage.
I mean, the guy
said what I said.
He was general and he responded aggressively. He was very general. He was generally speaking on it, and he was kind of like coming from an aggressive place and generalizing it. Like, well, he did kind of sound bitchy. Like he was like his response was a little defensive for sure. So, yeah.
It's
just his experience, so we can't, whatever.
But no, again, it's not even my experience. I don't understand.
No, him.
Ask the question, but then as soon as this woman approaches you with a thought-provoking question, here you go in defense mode. That is why, my brother.
Bitch nigga.
That is why.
It is a bitch nigga for you.
That is why.
That's all it bears down to. Bitch nigga. Real nigga. Real nigga.
I guess the question is this. Again, I think Samaya said the best. My brother, do you deserve a place?
Bitch nigga.
You probably don't. Which is why you're getting attacked aggressively. I'm actually talk so proud of.
That's why I do like that panel, because it's women who on there who are assertive and they are not scared to speak up for themselves, and that's okay. Those conversations are needed for like a healthy relationship. Yeah.
What you talking about?
That's when we get aggressive and we get masculine, because you're really not. You're listening with your ego. You're not really listening with your ear. That's when we start getting like, All right, nigga. Yeah, cool. All right.
So I guess I'm just gonna close it out and say this: like, you want to be a safe place. You want a safe place, be a safe place. That's all I'm saying. And if you don't know how, go get a counselor, go get a therapist, heal.
Wow.
You know, somebody see God, you know, do that, and then go out here and try to reach it. Try. That concludes another episode of She's a podcast. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. B.RAY, Samaya, Nina Brown, Nina Marie, in the building, Coach Herman. We out, bro.